next, we're delighted to be joined by Nicola Kagoro. Nicola, aka Chef Cola, is the founder of African Vegan on a Budget. Welcome, Nicola.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Fantastic. Where are you today?
I am in Harare, Zimbabwe.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for making time to be with us on World Food Day. And the first thing that I'd like to ask you, Nicola, is could you tell us about your passion for food?
My passion for foods is something that I hold dearly to my heart. I grew up in the best of both worlds. So I was born in Zimbabwe, but moved to New York City in America at a very early age and returned to Africa in my mid-teens. So that kind of changed my dynamics on the way my family was able to source food regularly. And it taught my family how to source food on a budget coming from a third world country. So growing up, that's when my passion for food started because I wanted to make sure that not only my family or myself have access to affordable food, but then also everybody. So my passion for food started pretty early.
Could you talk to us specifically about what you love doing with food?
All right. What I love doing with food is making indigenous plant-based recipes. So my skill is that I am a vegan chef. And what I love doing specifically with food is turning meat-based dishes that are African inspired into vegan-based dishes because there's a large connotation that meat, especially with African cuisine, meat and food go hand in hand. So I like to turn meat-based dishes into vegan dishes that are African inspired.
So look, I have to, before I move on to other questions, give me some examples. I mean, like, tell us some of your favorite dishes.
Some of my favorite dishes. Okay, so now that we're almost in the Christmas season, I am actually in the process of developing my take on an African-inspired beef Wellington. So usually it is beef Wellington, but then now beetroot is something that's very attainable and sustainable, especially during the rainy season, which is now in Africa. And Christmas time is coming up, so I'm making my take on beef Wellington, but turning it African-inspired and vegan-inspired, and it's a beef Wellington.
That's fantastic. Wow, absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you for that. Okay, good. So, tell me, Nicola, what does World Food Day mean to you?
A good question. World Food Day to me means access to food for everyone. World meaning everyone. So whether you come from a wealthy background, middle class background, or a poor background, having access to foods, that's what World Food Day means to me personally.
Great. Thank you for that. Thank you. I mean, talk to me about some of your concerns, right, around the issues of food.
Right. Coming from Africa, some of my issues concerning food, or even globally, is it has to do with climate change. At the end of the day, everything comes back to climate change. So my concern personally is the way that we are farming products. So not everyone is on a vegan or plant-based diet. World Food Day means every cuisine. So everyone being held accountable for the way that they're sourcing their food and also supplying food. So when we say supplying, being someone who grows the food. So some of my concerns is that everyone comes and has a seat at the table and holds themselves accountable about how they're producing their food and also eating their food and getting rid of it in a sustainable way.
Yeah. Nicola, do you find that with your work, which is absolutely incredible, I mean, we found you on social media. I mean, you have an extraordinary following. You're known all over the world. I mean, these issues around food, the issues that we've spoken about in this program today around World Food Day, scarcity of food, people being hungry. Do you find yourself having to, obviously we all want to confront that. We all want to talk about that. We all want to find a solution. Do you find a lot of your work involved in that kind of thinking and that kind of discussion?
Definitely. How can I explain it? The work evolves around that type of discussion, definitely, because it's evolved around food. And I think the answer to your question is just simply yes, I do find it like that.
Yeah. I mean, have you got any sort of thoughts if if you were in a position running the World Food Programme, being a Secretary General of the United Nations, the president of the country? I mean, what sort of thoughts do you think, if you could do one thing, if you could change one thing, what are some of the sort of the great changes that you'd like to see happen?
Some of the great changes is access to everyone being able to grow their own food. So whether you're coming from a rural community, having access to land, if it's an urban setup, there's so much technology these days. There's rooftop gardening. There's ways that you can just have a small patch of land. So giving everyone a chance to produce their own food the way they want to produce it, and so that they can be held accountable of what they put in their body, not having some other brand or someone else having to take that responsibility for you.
Very interesting. So for you'd like people to be sort of given the right information, be inspired to do so, and engage in the process of creating their own food. Is there anywhere out there, Nicola, that we can get that information? I mean, obviously, some people can do. I mean, look, I've traveled 150 or so countries, right? I mean, and you too, and we know that most people can't even have the privilege of thinking about growing it. They actually haven't even got it, but for those who do have the privilege or potential opportunity to grow their own food, is there a place that we can source information around this issue?
I work a lot in rural communities in Africa, and they have access to land compared to first world nations where they don't have access to land. So these conversations are a bit harder to have. So in rural communities, the land is there, but then the knowledge is not there. So to answer your question, how to source this information is social media. We have to use us being in the 21st century, and social media is one of the most powerful tools to access knowledge and actually spread knowledge. So we have to use social media to get that information out there. So having conversations like this is very important.
Well, Nicola, we love following you, so we'll look forward to getting all sorts of different information from you, including beetroot Wellington, which I just think that's genius. I love that. I can't wait to try it. So look, what actions, Nicola, can individuals take, to support more? I mean, obviously, we just spoke about one, which is growing our own foods, etc. But what actions can individuals take, or would you like to see individuals take, in terms of the journey that we're all on in relation to humanity's survival, frankly?
Humanity's survival, yeah. That's a very deep question. It's like a question you ask someone like at a world beauty pageant. Humanity's survival. I have no idea. Like I always go back to holding yourself accountable. It's all about what you do for yourself, because you can't look at what someone else is doing on the other side of the fence. So humanity survival starts within. I know that's a cliche response, but that's my answer.
Yeah, it starts within. I mean, I say, humanity's survival, Nicola, because it's really all I've been thinking about, for the last 24 years is, what kind of actions can we as individuals take in relation to the journey, of the survival, of humanity in terms of the protection of each other, the protection of our resources, of our planet, etc. So I always think about those terms, and I guess it's interesting to say the words humanity survival, but the truth is, Nicola, I think that you and I and everybody watching would agree, and I think this is the key message, is that each and every one of us, right, has the ability to make that kind of fundamental change. You know what I mean? That does lead, to humanity's survival, right? Especially if we all did it together. So that's why I was kind of asking it in that way, and I was interested to, sort of hear your answer as to what would you like to see individuals do, and your answer is about within. It's about making a personal choice, right? It's about saying, okay, look, I'm committed to making an impact within my own means, within the parameters of me personally trying to survive. But I'm going to make that internal decision that whatever actions I carry out, I'm going to try to do it in the best way that I can, not just for myself, but for others.
Exactly.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for telling me that, because it reminded me, as you can tell. So that's just a lovely thing about dialogue, isn't it? When we sort of talk like this, It's
Yeah.
very special indeed. So look, if people want to find out more information, Nicola, and please, to everyone, you're about to hear, but you've got to follow Nicola. She's doing amazing work. But look, Nicola, for those who do want to know where to go or ways in which they can help you, please tell us.
Thank you. So everywhere on social media, on all social media platforms, even Google African vegan on a budget, or just type in Chef Cola or my real name, Nicola Kagoro. You'll find me.
Okay, thank you so much, Nicola. Okay, well, look, please, everybody, go check out Nicola's work. It's incredible. We wish you, Nicola, the very best of luck on your journey. Take care. Thanks for being a part of World Food Day Live. We'll see you next year.
Thank you. Bye.